All right, so there is a well, I will say I like to go onto YouTube and type in various things like what are the signs that what are signs that women show when they like you, or what are tips that or hints girls leave whenever they are attracted to you or attracted to a person, or what attracts women to whatever the respective attributes are for a guy. So I like to look at these things, you know, really I'm just keen on figuring out how women think and how they work. So I've been doing this for a while. Like, this helps me write whenever I create vignettes and my novellas and short stories. So because it's hard or it's difficult to write from a female perspective or from a woman's perspective because I'm not one. And even though I may have female colleagues and close friends whom I haven't talked to or spoken to in a while, but they're still very much my close friends, and they'll be like, my homegirls will actually be really genuinely surprised by how much I glean from them as far as like their knowledge base, their expertise, and just their perspective, because I really like truly listen to it. Like I need that, because whenever I see, you know, when I meet people in different parts of the world or just in life, I kind of associate their behaviors with the women who I knew when I was in junior high, like middle school or elementary school or high school, or, you know, things like that. So it's like I still remember having a lot of those conversations with girls in my class and just chatting it up and just like figuring things out. So, you know, somebody might ask me like, so what have you learned, or what is a common theme that you have seen as of now with what women like, or what do girls like in a guy, or what is a pronounced feature characteristic that women like when it comes to, or as it pertains to dating. And my opinion is, I think opposites attract. I honestly believe that opposites, as far as genders, don't let people confuse you with all this bullshit ass like liberal, liberated feminism, anything ism, pick a word and put ism at the end and like have you confused. Like, no, like honestly, truth be told, and it won't change, opposites attract. Boys like girls, men like women, women like men, girls like boys. Loud people tend to go with quieter people. Quieter people tend to be attracted to the loud person. Extroverted people tend to be dating introverted some people sometimes, you know, that's just normally how, from what I've seen. Somebody who's a bit more loquacious, gregarious, open, tends to have partners who aren't as talkative, who aren't as outgoing, who aren't as willing to try these new things because they provide balance. Women or men who are more right brained meaning creative, social people, persons, people who like to be around other people, interface with other people, who are unpredictable, who are the type to not necessarily be the strategic planning type, the fun, outgoing. You can be fun and be left brain too, of course, but take life by the horns, take life as it comes. Those type of people, men and women, heavily tend to date or pair with individuals who are left brained, who are structured, who like order, who are orderly, who are conscientious, people who have an inclination to plan or overly plan, to be on top of things, to people. Those type of people balance well together because it shows that they have different strengths, and their strengths complement that other person's weaknesses, and that person's strengths complements, their partner's weaknesses. So it just normally tends to go that way. So there's this, in my opinion, from what we've seen on, the media landscape, television, movies, film, magazines, all that type of stuff, we have a tendency to believe that women as a whole, like if we're going to generalize women, as if they are very, how can I say this? Non-aggressive, non-assertive, passive is a way, demure is a word that I would use, as if women don't necessarily feel anything unless a guy who evokes that type of emotion out of them, or provokes them to be sexual, or inspires them, or pushes them to be sexual. Like if you look at movies, it has to be like the guy initiating the sex, because what women do you know actually like sex or wants to have sex? It's like these types of things. So I think that's 100% a false narrative, and there are plenty of women who aren't quiet, who aren't shy. I would say there's more women who are not shy and outgoing than they are quiet ones, naturally, right? And I think the quiet, shy, demure, passive, coy, let me look away when he's looking at me, let me turn my back whenever he's around, let me pretend like he's not here. All of these things are behaviors that women are indoctrinated with as they grow up, because they are taught that, or programmed to think that that's how women are supposed to act to engage men, or that's how they're supposed to be for men to like them, or that's how women are whenever they look at movies, TV, shows, films, things of that nature. Even though their natural disposition, their genuine personality is nothing like that at all, right? So I think you have that false narrative as if women aren't aggressive, or they're not talkative. They're only talkative with their female friends, not around guys, right? Like these types of things. And they go for guys who make them feel comfortable, or guys who they can be comfortable or be themselves around. So what is that? Like, what does that mean? What does that mean for a girl to look for a guy that they can be themselves around? I think from what I've seen, women prefer shy guys. Women prefer genuinely quieter guys, in my opinion. And it's not because they think like they're nicer or something, or maybe that. But I think it's because deep down, or not even that deep, like naturally, women aren't that shy. Women are quite talkative. Women are quite open. Women are quite gregarious. Women are quite social beings, and they prefer somewhat the opposite. I think they prefer guys who aren't as outgoing as them, or who aren't as talkative, or who aren't as open to meeting a lot of people. So that is their way of seeing if that's their way of determining how interested he is in her, or how much influence she will have on him, or, to be blunt, how much control she may have in that situation. So if they're in a relationship and this is a woman who likes a guy, she wants a guy who's not a mute. They don't want a guy who's like a mime or something like that, who doesn't speak and just has hand signals. But they don't necessarily want the person that walks in the room and talks to everybody either, particularly the type that talks to a lot of girls. Like they don't like guys like that. Maybe in like a bad boy type of fling type of thing, but as far as who they want to date, as far as the guy who they seriously consider dating, they prefer quieter guys. They prefer shy guys. They prefer that because they know when the doors are closed, or when they're not in a public sphere, or when they're not in a social environment, it's just them, she can be more domineering. She can be more of a person in control. And I think we have to be aware that growing up in life, like men and women, I guess, growing up don't have much control in a lot of things. But I don't know. This is just kind of what I've seen, and women prefer guys who they can kind of have a bit more of influence on. My opinion, personal opinion.